marches the back with you. It's time to go to the beach. Here we go.
On the beach.
On
Yes.
the beach.
Neil Young's, I guess it's his 5th album. He recorded this after Tonight's the Night, but Tonight's the Night was still not released, so...
We'll get to it after, I guess.
Yeah, he ends up putting that out after this. So this is what follows Time Fades Away, recorded in later that fall, 1973.
Which you can see on our 5th episode in YouTube.
Right. Let's start with the cover. Let's start talking about the cover first, because it's such a cool image, and I love everything that's happening in it.
There's a car in here.
Buried car,
like a Cadillac.
So here's the flowers. Let me show
Yep.
you something cool.
Yeah, you have the flower pattern underneath there.
Yeah, and then inside the record, you can
Yeah, there's a flower pattern.
You can see it.
Yeah, and I like that
Thanks,
you just...
camerawoman.
Neil Young is on the back, and on the front it just says on the beach. And I don't know what he's wearing, but I love it. He's just sort of looking out the waves there. It's very...
Shoes off.
Shoes are off. It's very indicative of what this album sounds like.
Is that him?
And there's the headline about Nixon on the newspaper.
Yep.
His hair is long enough.
Yeah, it says something about Nixon to resign.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Buckley calls for Nixon to resign.
His hair is long in this.
It is quite long.
They
So this is
also-
clearly, he's sort of in the wilderness a little bit still, although he's on the beach, I guess. But in a sense, he's in the wilderness.
Here's a newspaper. And
Can I tell you
here's
another
water.
fun tidbit that I looked
Yeah.
up about the cover?
Yeah.
There's a novel on the beach, and then they talk about the follow-up novel, The Drought. It was released in paperback in '74, and the cover of that is a Cadillac fin buried in the sand called The Drought.
Camerawoman.
Cameron with the good facts. Good connection.
Looks like this is back in 1974, or maybe 1973.
Yep, depending on when they shot it. But beautiful cover, and the album and the music. Let's talk about that. So this is the sleeve that comes inside.
And the record.
Yeah, of course this is another Reprise album.
All of them except 5.
You like that fact. So this guy was supposed to write liner notes, Rusty Kershaw, but he really wasn't up to the task, but they still just published what his liner notes
It
were.
looks like Neil Young's writing.
It's it's Rusty Kershaw who plays fiddle on the last track, Ambulance Blues.
Yeah, Ambulance Blues.
And he also plays slide guitar in motion pictures. But so this is his idea of liner notes, it's kind of all over the place. So that's what they included here.
But Ambulance Blues is, I think, my favorite one in this album.
That's your favorite?
It's like 9 minutes, but
I love it. Yeah, it's so delicate, or it's so sort of deliberate, and it's relaxed. It sort of takes its time.
There's 2 really long ones on this.
Yeah.
On the Beach and Ambulance Blues.
So who do we have on this? And once again, it's produced by David Briggs with Neil Young. Also Mark Harmon, who I don't know who that was. Al Schmidt, another producer on this album with Neil Young. Most of it was recorded in San Francisco. Or actually, I'm sorry, most of it was recorded in Los Angeles with a few tracks in Neil Young's ranch studio in San Francisco, or Broken Arrow Studios in San Francisco. You have a lot of the same people. You have Crazy Horse guys, Billy Talbot and Ralph Mooney on a bits of this. Ben Keith, of course, who's always playing pedal steels all over this album. Go ahead.
Broken Arrow is a song by Buffalo Springfield. We're not going to hear it.
Well, it was written by Neil Young too, yeah.
It was, but it was a Buffalo Springfield song, and now it's got into all sorts of stuff. It was a popular song, and then you got Broken Arrow Studio. There's now with Crazy Horse called Broken Arrow. That's in the 90s. We'll get to later.
He likes that title for a lot of different reasons.
Yes.
But one of the signature, I think one of the first things you notice with this album is, how languid it is, I would say, number one, and how sort of dreamy.
Here's
But also,
the sleeve.
the one big difference, and I don't know that you ever hear this on any other album, is the use of the Wurlitzer piano, which is all over this, which is a really, I don't know, maybe it's sort of reminiscent of the beach.
See the Sky About to Rain.
No, it's on, let's see, on See the Sky About to Rain, of course, Neil Young plays it. He also, Ben Keith plays it on Revolution Blues.
Really? Let's see.
Hold on a second. And Graham Nash plays it on the title track, On the Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's it. So it's on, 4 tracks, I believe?
3.
Was it 3? I guess it feels like it's on the whole album, maybe just because of the sound that they were getting. But yes, Graham Nash sings on, actually just plays Wurlitzer. Crosby plays guitar on one of the songs.
I feel like the second side is way different than the first side. The second side's
Yes.
like calm, and then the first side.
Well, that's a good point. Oh, and Joe Yankee turns up again playing electric tambourine.
But See the Sky About to Rain is kind
And
of
Mark.
calm though.
Well, so you bring up a good point. What I found out just now was that this album was about to be released with side B as side A and A as side B. So it was going to originally start with
the
Vampire
Beach.
Blues. Or, I'm sorry, with On the Beach. The title track was going to be the first track.
Mm-hmm.
But his producer, David Briggs, convinced him at the last minute to switch it to what we know now.
I think that was a
However-
good move.
Oh, I think it was a great move. However, the cassette version, the original tape
Yes.
cassette 8-track
So that
is
means
reversed.
that the cassette has. The first track would be the title track on the cassette, and the last track on
Yeah.
the cassette would be Vampire Blues.
Right. So if you bought the cassette, you got what Neil Young wanted. Or I don't know why they didn't change that too.
And then
I don't know.
David Briggs chose the other way at the last minute.
So you have members of the band also on this actually, who would be on Homegrown, which we'll talk about very soon. Levon
Yeah.
Helm and Rick Danko on Revolution Blues, and Levon Helm plays drums on See the Sky About to Rain.
But wait, we will do Homegrown after Tonight's the Night. It's one of Neil Young's archives. I think we got to that yesterday when we talked about Time Fades Away and the album we also mentioned called Tuscaloosa.
Right. Well, you have a song for his girlfriend who they'd broken up at the time, Carrie Snodgrass, which was Motion Pictures.
For Carrie.
It says for Carrie right on it there, yeah. I guess Vampire Blues was all about the oil industry. He was sort of
He keeps saying I suck blood or something.
Sucking blood from the earth.
sucking blood from the
The
earth.
oil coming up.
Oh,
Right.
cameraman always pointing out things.
See the Sky About to Rain. I just thought about this as we were seeing, like when it was just waiting to rain here. So, I mean, wow. What do you think about this album? Do we want to talk about Shakeys already, or is there anything else you want to add?
Not yet.
Okay, what else did you want to add?
So, let's see. This is the inner sleeve, as we've been mentioning. There's nothing in here. And then,
Okay, go ahead. There was one other thing I was going to say.
dedicated to Elliot Roberts, thanks to everyone who gave everything. And it says, also songs recorded at Sunset Sound, Los Angeles, except Walk On and For the Turnstiles.
Right.
Recorded at Broken Arrow Studios, San Francisco.
So one other thing about this album was known as sort of like his most cult album because of its sort of down nature, but also because you couldn't buy it once after it came out in 1974. It was never reissued. He didn't put it on CD until 2003.
Ambulance Blues is the song that sounds nothing like the rest. His voice is really mellow in it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think his voice, the whole second side, he sounds like really sleepy, but really
Mostly
interesting.
Ambulance Blues.
Yeah. What I was going to say is his fans actually petitioned him to put it on CD, and they eventually did in 2003. He didn't want to do it for some reason, even though it's not like Time Fades Away where he didn't like that album. He actually did like this album. For some reason, he didn't want to remaster it or master it for CD. So,
Right. Shakeys.
Shakeys.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Mm,
What do you think? On the Beach, Neil Young.
Well, I didn't actually. There's one more thing to say. I didn't even notice, but it actually says the tracks down here.
Yep.
Walk On.
I like that
Sky About
font
to
too,
Rain,
by the way.
Revolution
Very cool
Blues,
font.
Turnstiles.
Yeah.
Okay, and this
Nice
is the
font. All right.
And then the plant just it says the plant. It says Neil Young.
All right. So you want to go first with Shakeys?
I'll go 8.5.
Ooh, we're doing halves. All right. I'm fine with that. 8.5 Shakeys. This is a 10 Shaky album for me. This is absolutely a 10.
I think
It's-
I know what.
It's probably my second favorite album that he ever made.
other than Harvest, right?
No, everybody knows This Is Nowhere is,
Oh,
is probably number one. But this one, they're really two different albums. But this one is a 10. 10 Shakeys.
And now camera woman, I think I know what she's gonna give it.
Do you?
Yes,
Well, let's see. I give this one 10 Shakeys.
I thought so.
Yeah, I was thinking about it upon re-listening, and I think I might even put this one a little bit higher than Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere. They're
Everybody
both.
knows This Is Nowhere.
Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere.
Sorry to be a stickler there. I get it. they're so different. It's kind of like they're really 1A, 1 and 1A.
If you go back into our episode 2, everybody knows this is nowhere. And I noticed when we watched that video, I saw that someone commented on it.
Yeah, feel free to comment. By the way,
thank you, Chris Monroe.
right. Yeah, feel free to comment on this video and share it with people because we're gonna keep this up. So far, we've done it every day, right?
Yes.
All right.
But Chris Monroe, you commented. I noticed you commented on Everybody Knows This Nowhere video, and you said "Cinnamon Girl" is a Monsters song, and you added it to Oliver's bedtime playlist, and he's Oliver's dad, and Oliver is a friend that I have.
Yes, good friend of yours, right?
Mhm.
All right. I'm so excited listening to this. I'm excited to be listening to the next few albums too. 70s was Neil Young's, prime period. So
Salad
It's
days.
Mom thinks it's kind of gonna get rough after Rust Never Sleeps, which is his last album in the 70s.
it'll be interesting, but that's where maybe this will be even more fun. We'll see. All right.
Yes.